right now live in the studio. I am so thrilled to welcome, we have got Dylan Bishop. Let's see if I have some microphones for you, Dylan.
Hey.
Hey, there you are.
Hello.
Hi. You brought a guitar.
Yep, always.
Well, it's so nice to have you stopping by the High Plains. I know you played a show at Woody Guthrie Folk Music Center on May 15th, and we were very, very thrilled you were able to stop back on your way back home. We are going to have your music shortly and get it in rotation, but we're really excited to see you had a show in Pampa. How did the show go?
It was really cool. I had been there a couple of times before, and before I'd ever been, I've been familiar with that building in that area by listening to Woody's Library of Congress sessions pretty thoroughly and on repeat over the years. And he's talked to by Alan and Alan's wife, the Lomaxes, and he talks about his life, and so he spends a good chunk of that talking about that very building. So to be there is always very, very heavy, because to me it's like where Woody saw this brick, and Woody was home in a really, really heavy way. So the gig was really fun because it was locals that came out and really listened and were very just like attentive and appreciative. And I got to try out some new stuff. I was en route to do a little recording, so I tried out what I was going to record, and it went really cool. So I had a great time, and I really appreciate my friend Mike there, because he's been really, really good to me, and he's just a great guy, and for keeping Woody's thing going out there too, because that's another thing. Mike took that on and is keeping that building going and acknowledging what's happened there. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate Pampa very much for that, and I appreciate y'all for staying real like that, because things are changing quick. And it's really special to still have places like that where we can go and connect to things like Woody and what Woody is.
Yeah, this folk community kills fascists.
That's right. Yeah, that's
pretty
right.
Fantastic. Well, shout out to everybody in Pampa for coming out for live music at Woody Guthrie Folk Music Center. They often do shows on Thursday nights, and then they have really great jam sessions on Friday nights. So really excited that they're got such a vibrant music scene. And Dylan, we've got little places popping up all over. There's a lot more live music in Amarillo, Texas. People that are going out on a limb and hosting live shows, smaller artists that are traveling through, and giving them a place to play. So we're really glad that you were someone who could come on through, and we hope we can get you back here, play a show in Amarillo next time you come back through.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Well, for those who don't know much about you and your music, since we don't have any of your music yet, we're going to get it in rotation shortly once I get it, and you will be very well known here through the High Plains morning community. Awesome. Tell us about you. Tell us about where you're from.
Well, I came up in around DFW, and I came up in that blues scene there that was still pretty well alive. A few generations removed from the original guys on those recordings was young guys like Hash Brown and Cadillac Johnson and Mike Morgan, and now on to younger generations too, like Rio Casey and people my age and that are still around there and still doing that. So I came up immersed in that kind of scene, and that was like the best schooling, and it really instilled a pretty sturdy kind of like compass in me, because I realized from an early age that I'm dealing with something very serious, and sacred. And so anyway, that instills a certain kind of attitude toward things and a work ethic. And so that was awesome. And I came up that way. And then I finished high school a little early and went down to Austin and was there for a real good chunk of time. And that was just a continuation of my growth, as an overall person. And it's really cool how my music blossomed there. A continuation of the blues thing just very naturally turned into a psychedelic kind of deal I did and still do with my friends there, Damian Yanez and Gian Ortiz. It's a band called Texas, J-E' Texas. And it's very special music. And to me, that is still blues, because it's just coming from my heart and all of our conditions, and that's what blues or any of this is. And that just was real fun for a good chunk of time. But after a while, I started to feel a little just kind of burnt out on the city. It's like no one thing. It's just kind of the whole thing. It's everything combined around a city. I was wearing on my nerves and everything a lot. And also it's just like, it's interesting to be an artist in a city of artists. It's very awesome. But at a certain point, it can kind of get like an echo chamber or something, because everyone is, I don't know, you kind of lose touch with it. So I did, at least. I can't speak for others. So anyway, I felt kind of pulled to get out and go somewhere else where I felt like the air might be cleaner. And I had gone through New Mexico once already, and I felt really pulled to that land for some reason, and I just kind of acted on that and didn't think much about it. And I'm really glad I did that. So I've been out in New Mexico now for a while, and bouncing around quite a bit too, just getting to see cool places, but centered out of a very special home I got in New Mexico with my, it's really been amazing for me out there to integrate art into my life in a new way, and hopefully not as greedy of a way. And I'm trying to court the muses a little differently these days, and it's really working very well because I feel like it's becoming therapeutic again for me. And that's what it started as in those earliest phases. I started when I was 7. And I remember I had gotten a guitar, and with my brother and my dad, we all started at the same time, and my dad gave me an AC/DC CD. And I turned it on in my bedroom, and it was like the biggest gush of therapy I'd ever gotten.
Was it Bon Scott singing or after?
That's an awesome question. It was Brian Johnson. It was Back in Black. And then, and then quickly, right around the same time, I got High Voltage. So then I got into Bon Scott. And I would really spend a long time in that school. And I've come back to it and go to it often because it's still just like right on. Yeah. So yeah, it's just always been following my heart in that regard. And so these days I don't play with the band Texas as often as I used to, but we meet up and make records, and that's what we were actually doing when I went down to Pampa, and we made an awesome record, our best one yet. We're really proud of it, and it'll be coming out pretty soon, I bet. And but I really just do it on my own these days and kind of enjoy the mobility and like the spontaneity I can allow myself of kind of doing what I please. And so that leads to these kind of songs that I think y'all will get in rotation, and you probably would dig Texas too out here.
All right. Well, we'll definitely take a listen. We've got a very wide palette here for music on High Plains Morning. Well, we'd love to hear a song. What are you going to play for us?
Awesome. Let's see. This is one I wrote when I got out there to New Mexico, and it kind of gives you a good example of like where I went after I had played with the full band. This is called Home on the Range. It's about a cool spot I landed in, and we called it Cat Ranch. Break swift, day lifts up above the range, and sunlight pours down the mountains in the early I'll bathe in the runaway river. I'd stay and I skate in the wintertime. Leaves change, I stroll shady lane Novembers for a dime a day. Home on the range is all mine. My summertime job makes me money. Weekends I'll spend dressed nice, serve drinks on ice to people. Not time with tartness and style is fine. Far and wide mountain skies scattered equal. The wind's high, birds are sailing on the breeze. Far out as we can see them, fly on. Long gone, miles away, I'll stay flat-footing in this place of elevating sighs. Fresh slates overlay understood things. So fly away, but I'll stay taking all my time. dime a day won't break me. Down home on the range.
You're listening to High Plains Morning on High Plains Public Radio. Dylan Bishop live in the studio. That was fantastic. That had some Texas drive into New Mexico vibes in it right there.
Yes, I'm glad to hear that.
And it kind of had the chords kind of made me think of the late great Michael Hurley a little bit.
Oh, that's perfect.
Beautiful song.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. So you mentioned, you kind of started out really steeped in the blues, kind of got a little psychedelic, kind of rock country. Looking forward to hearing Ja Texas.
Yeah.
You also had some folk in the mix, though. You had an entire kind of folk album that came into that. So how do you feel it now that you've spanned so many genres? Where are you landing right now in our very weird time?
Yeah. The last while I've been really enjoying just words themselves and no music to it. It's been the last few years in hindsight have been kind of a stripping down of things, and it's getting to now it's just words. And so I really enjoy just putting the pen to paper, or on the typewriter too, especially, and getting in that state and just letting the words go like that. And so that's what it's doing right now. And I'm just doing it in privacy, mostly because I'm still just learning the craft. But my intentions are to hopefully voice this kind of joy that I'm finding with the world when it's ready. And I did just do a spoken word album that's out today or maybe tomorrow, called Talkin' Blues. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment.
I love that. Well, we just started a new regional feature here on High Plains Public Radio called Poets on the Plains. Since you're originally from Texas, you would qualify. So just a heads up, yeah, we do love hearing, how being from a place where you've got a concentration of artists, like, where you're from, and then down in Austin, here you are going out into this wider open space. But, New Mexico, the area where you are, like the north of Taos, that's a place almost like where artists go to get away from everything. I feel like there's a tradition of that out there. Georgia O'Keeffe and, all the transcendental artists from the Taos School. There's so much talk of that in the art vibes around Amarillo, Texas, about, people come here from big cities to be able to breathe, to be able to be under the wide open skies, and it just kind of gives your mind that space to roam. Are you finding that there's a little bit different of what you're receiving in New Mexico versus what you were receiving in Texas?
Yes, absolutely. It's pretty much, I think, like you put it very well. It's exactly like you felt it too, that it just allowed me to breathe more inside and out. And just being immersed when I was in a city, and all the different landscapes, they affect you, right? If you got buildings right up in your face, you don't realize it, but it's really affecting you a lot. And so since I've gotten out and I'm kind of perched up in these mountains and can just gaze way out on the mesa, it's like doing that for a long time, I think, is just expanding everything for me, because that's just how things work, is your mind and what's out there and in there is connected like that. So it's been really helping me to go at art, like I said, hopefully a bit less greedily and more patiently.
Wonderful. Well, we got about 10 minutes left. I bet you can sneak two songs in there.
Yep, I think so.
All right, let's do it.
Cool. Let's see, here's one called Honeybee Rag. And you can hear these soon on your local radio right here. I appreciate these guys for what they're doing it from their hearts and doing it on their own. Right on. Buzzing left pollen in my mind. She gathered my loving and took it to her hive. Black and yellow got me in a trance. My legs like jello, she stung me on my stance. My heart beat quickly when she was in the room. She She didn't stick around longer than it took to make you swoon. Kitchen, the windows open wide. Honeybees missing, she comes and goes like the tide. Restless in my mind, wondering where she flew. I believe honeybees buzzing on the moon. Believe she's buzzing on the moon. Believe she's buzzing on. That's called Honeybee Rag.
All right, High Plains. That was Dylan Bishop live in the studio, and this is your morning show. This is High Plains Morning. So grateful for everybody tuned in today, and big thanks to you, Dylan, for coming by and playing some music. You know, we have a pretty large coverage area across the High Plains, and not as many of our towns get live music like we should. So this is a chance to play some shows, and you're in a lot of ear holes right now across the High Plains.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Well, where are you heading to after this? You're heading home?
Yeah, I'm going home. I'm going to go back to New Mexico now and get back to my craft out there. But I'm going to be getting out some too and playing more, so you might see my name popping up from state to state and place to place. I'm going to, I'll be up in Pagosa Springs next weekend. I'm playing at a theater up there, and so I'm be doing that.
Well, I've been there for the Pagosa Folk and Bluegrass Festival, and they did the Four Corners Folk Festival as well.
Nice.
Really, really, really great folk community in that area, and some really impressive hikes if you don't have asthma.
I don't.
Okay, good. Yet.
I don't think so.
Well, we've got like 5 minutes left. Sorry, I don't want to curse you with asthma.
No, I got you. It's all good.
I'm being salty. I can do that. It's my birthday.
It's your birthday.
It's my
Happy birthday.
Hey, thanks.
It's a special day. I appreciate you having me today, especially.
Well, I'm so glad we got a live show. You're serenading me. This is like the ultimate.
Yes, I am.
All right, what are we going to take out the show with?
I'm going to take it out with this one. It's a little snippet from, like I said, this long spoken piece I put out called Talkin' Blues has got songs woven in there. So this is just one of the songs that's in there. And I thank you all again for listening very much. I hope you've enjoyed it all. Appreciate you bearing with me. I don't use cases or anything, and so the guitar is always breathing new air, and so it's adjusting and doing a great job.
It's like sauerkraut.
That's right. Exactly like sauerkraut. All right. used to blame the way of the world for my anger, saying this day and age brings me down. With burning pride I've turned my friends to strangers. Communications became hollow sound. I've been walking, talking to myself lately, watching these same thoughts go round and round. I used to fill up the pages, but these days seem nothing I'm mustering up's worth writing down. Believe I'll take myself off the shelf now and go to town. Go to town. Take my guitar to the park and play it all day. I'm tired of singing blues to the walls. Got a friend I'll call for small talking to say, now make it out your way this coming fall. Tonight I might go out and hear a band play and stay till they say last call. When I come home, if my lawns lit by moon rays, I'd stay outside and wake up in the dawn. Believe I'll take myself off the shelf now. Get along. Gotta get along, everybody. This is Dylan Bishop. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Dylan Bishop live in the studio. Dylan, thank you so much. What a great one. We do hope you come back this fall, but maybe sooner than that. But let us know. We'll see what we can find some shows across the High Plains. I know the folks all across our region would love to come out for some live music. So everyone have a wonderful Wednesday.